if Zoro was a devil fruit user instead of a swordsman? The One Piece world is full of characters with exceptional potential, and when these potentials are matched with the power scaling system of Haki and Devil Fruit, we get some of the most powerful characters in the anime multiverse. From those that refuse to die even when executed, Kaido, to men like Garp who can give a man a permanent scar with just his fist. Think about it, Marine Hero Garp in his prime went toe-to-toe with the King Pirate Goldie Rogers without a weapon! Through characters like Garp, we know that it is possible to be the top of the One Piece world without a weapon or devil fruit. And while it is pretty badass to be that strong without a weapon, One Piece also gives us pretty overly strong characters who use weapons. Standing with pride at the top of that list is the man who represents one thing a pirate should not be on sea: alone. Dracula Mihawk is known as the world's strongest swordsman, and get this, he was so strong that before Emperor Shanks of the red-haired pirates lost his arm to save a scrawny kid in East Blue, they were considered to be equal in terms of swordsmanship. This still begs the question of if Dracula Mihawk is secretly stronger than Shanks, but not an emperor because he doesn't have a crew of his own. Anyway, another character that has shown his mettle with the sword and proved that you don't need anything more than a trusty blade, or 3, to make it in the ravaged sea of bloodthirsty pirates is the former pirate hunter and now first mate of the next pirate king, Roronoa Zoro. Our boy Zoro is not only good at getting lost, he is also the sole master and practitioner of the 3-sword technique in the One Piece universe because in his words, get this, if 1 sword makes you strong, 3 should make you a beast. And yes, Zoro is nothing short of a beast, a literal king of hell. When it comes to Zoro, nothing is impossible. Whether it's taking on all of Luffy's pain and standing, still Zoro's most badass scene if you ask me, to slicing through metal, comets, rocks, you name it. If it exists, best believe Zoro can cut it. Now that we're talking about cutting, Zoro has shown us some of the most epic scenes, but today we're thinking of a different type of cutting. What if we cut out Zoro's ability to use a sword in the first place? Dramatic silence. I know, who would Zoro be without his trusty sword technique? Well, I can tell you for sure that he still wouldn't be the weakest member of the Straw Hat group. Not with Conqueror's observation and armament Haki under his belt. Zoro has even proved to us that he can live without his sword. Remember the no sword technique, Muto Ryu? Yeah, the technique where he uses sword attacks without actually having a sword on him. Zoro is just that good. But this is where it gets interesting. Have you ever wondered what would happen if Zoro had a Devil Fruit ability instead of his swords? Picking a Devil Fruit for Zoro is such a difficult task because he is so badass, but after a very grueling task, I have been able to identify 3 Devil Fruits that I think will best suit our King of Hell. Coming in at number 3 is the Hi-Ho Nomi, currently possessed by former Marine Admiral and current member of the Blackbeard Pirates, Ikoji Kuzan. This Devil Fruit ability gives its user total control over ice. Kuzan can easily create ice or cause anything he touches to turn into ice. This Devil Fruit is a good fit for Zoro for 2 main reasons. Firstly, he is such a chill and badass dude. Zoro doesn't kid around and is quite a relaxed person who just wants to drink booze, get lost, and obey his captain's orders, so the ice Devil Fruit is actually a good fit for him. The second and most logical reason why this is such a great choice is that the Hi-Ho Nomi allows its user to create ice structures out of thin air. Kuzan has created bridges, ice roads, and the likes for himself. I know you're already thinking what I'm thinking. Yep, Zoro can use this Devil Fruit to create new swords for himself and imbue them with armament Haki. And just like that, our boy would be back on top of his game with the extra addition of the Devil Fruit backing him up. Number 2 spot goes to none other than Enel's Goro Goro Nomi. In the words of Nico Robin, this is the most fearsome Devil Fruit because of its potential to make its user indestructible. The Goro Goro Nomi gives its user control over electricity, allowing the user to become a literal current. If you think Iced Up Zoro was cold, wait until you meet Zoro that uses lightning. Enel used this power to become a god to his people on Skypiea, and we all know that Zoro never aims for anything small. Maybe with a Devil Fruit, the need to become the strongest swordsman may never come up, but there would still definitely be a need for the strongest something. Maybe Zoro would be a god? Maybe the strongest Devil Fruit user in history? Whatever the case, the specs for the Goro Goro Nomi give him just enough leeway to become whatever he sets his mind to. Imagine Zoro aiming for the world's strongest Devil Fruit user. Wouldn't that mean that him and Luffy would have to clash one day? Well, let's leave that for another video. While we're leaving that, this would be a great time to leave what you're doing and hit the subscribe button and like button so you know when the next video pops up. Anyway, Enel's Devil Fruit would allow Zoro to zap through his enemies in a battle, and when you combine that with his Conqueror's Haki and Observation Haki, Zoro may just become the most overpowered person in the One Piece verse. Heck, even with no Devil Fruit, a lot of people already think he is the leader of the Straw Hats. He has the aura. finally, we saved the best for last. If Zoro would not be a swordsman but a devil fruit user, the number one devil fruit that I would want for him to have is, drumroll people, the Mirror Mirror Nomi. Ace's devil fruit is the perfect devil fruit for Zoro for a number of reasons, both in terms of fighting capabilities and the emotional significance. Now, we all know that Ace was Luffy's big brother and he lost his life at the Marineford arc. Before his death, he was the user of the Mirror Mirror Nomi, a devil fruit that gave him total control over fire. As a Logia-type devil fruit, its user is able to transform any part of his body to flame, making it easy to dodge non-hockey-based attacks. This ability would already put Zoro over the mass majority of pirates, who sadly know nothing about hockey. But in addition to this defensive ability, the Mirror Mirror Nomi gives its user a high advantage on an offensive stage. With very long-range attacks, the Mirror Mirror Nomi would allow Zoro the opportunity to take out more enemies without having to get close to them. While a swordsman, Zoro uses his 3-sword style to create long-range attacks like his 720-pound Phoenix. As a devil fruit user with the Mirror Mirror Nomi, he would be able to use more of such attacks without expending as much energy. On the emotional side, one thing Zoro is known for is his loyalty to Luffy. Maybe even more than he wants to be the strongest swordsman in the world, he wants to see Luffy become the Pirate King. Zoro has shown his ability to defer his pleasure for the sake of his captain, even going as far as taking away his captain's pain as a sign of loyalty and duty to him. And let's not forget, Zoro is older than Luffy, so in some ways, Zoro can be a big brother to Luffy. And guess who the previous and current user of the Mirror Mirror Nomi were? Luffy's two elder brothers, Ace and Sabo. Zoro literally falls right into place. He's the one Ace trusts to take care of his younger brother, and he has been doing a perfect job of it so far, only being absent once when Ace died. So yeah, I think Zoro would be really badass with Ace's devil fruit. As we wrap up, if I had to think of one more reason why Ace's Mirror Mirror Nomi is perfect for Zoro, it had to be this. Zoro is called the King of Hell. How can you rule hell if your body can't take the heat? Mic drop. Now, we'd love to hear from you. How do you think Zoro would fare without his trusty 3-sword style? Do you think Devil Fruit Zoro would be stronger than Swordsman Zoro? Let's know what you think in the comment section, and don't forget to share this video with a One Piece fan out there. See you in the comments!